Hello, Julie Torrance here. So I've had some requests to do a watercolor landscape. So I've got my Daniel Smith paints. I've got my Canson XL watercolor notebook here, and we're going to get started. I want to start out with a blue sky. The sky is darker at the top, goes lighter as it moves down, and that's because this is the closest part. This is like right over our head if we were standing in this scene. And then as we move down, it gets further away. So I'm going to put some water on. Just layering some clean water. I've got 2 water sources here. And I've got some blues right here on my palette. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to, because I want depth, I want, some movement, I'm going to add some ultramarine. I think this is more the phthalo blue. Getting some warping. That's fine. And I picked the Daniel Smith paints because do you see that flow? I want that. And I'm going to leave it right here where the sky kind of ends. Now I'm going to take a piece of paper towel, just a small piece, and I'm going to lift up some areas to make clouds. So here we go with some clouds. Isn't that pretty? And the Canson paper is not, lifting. That looks good. Okay, I think I want. Good. There's our little clouds. They look great. Now, this is far away. This is close up. So I'm going to start with just some small kind of rolling something, hills or little bank of trees, and it may blend, it may blur a little bit. That's fine. I just really am kind of going for some shape. And I just used a green here that was on my palette. And there. Good. Kind of blurry, I'm going to add some of this on. This looks to me like that Cascade green is there. And I'm just picking up a different color of green, a little. Get more of that Cascade green. There we go. And just some irregular shapes. This shape kind of got lost, so I'm just going to repeat it. I'm going to add a little bit of this serpentine. It's kind of more of a yellowy green. I'm holding my paper down because of the paper kind of wanting to move. All right. I'm going to just dried my brush, and I'm just going to lift a little right here where I see a lot of water puddling up. Okay, that looks good. Now, here's a little trick. What do you say? I'm reaching into my acrylic brushes. This is just a Derwent Academy brush. Can you see how splayed it is? I am just going to lift by pouncing with a dry brush. Any brush will do. Just dry. And what I'm doing is kind of even blurring that bottom a little bit more. It gave up a bristle. There we go. Okay. I'm going to just wipe that off, but it goes back into my acrylic brushes. All right. Now, the next row. I like color. I'm going to go in with some yellow. It's called cadmium yellow. I've got kind of a yellow spot here on my palette, and I'm going to add just a little bit of this green to it. All right, and let's put another layer in. Still going with the irregularity. And I'm going to leave it stop there and let it pick up again here. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not so worried about what the bottom line looks like. It's this top line that's going to give us the highs and the lows. Okay, good. I'm going to dry it. I'm just going to dry with my regular brush this time. The bottom a little bit. You know, there's going to be some flow, but I don't want it to just whoosh through the whole painting. All right. I'm going to pick up another green. I've got this green here. I just wet it down. And I'm going to just dive straight into this, oh, I never can say this one. It's like Pyramont or something like that. It's some kind of a gem. And I'm just going to start putting some of this in, like a little hill. Not necessarily having one on that side. We'll go with something different over here. Let's see. Another kind of a green. Let's go into, this is like green apatite. Someone told me that in the comments, that is how you say that word. And here we go. Good. And let's put a little of this down here. Just like that. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. There. Okay. We're getting there. I want to soften this bottom. I'm going to pull this down all the way across. Yep. Nice. And I'm just going to a little bit roll the edge there. All right, looking good, looking good. Kind of lost this one back here. Can you see that? I'm going to go back into that watery color and just reestablish that upper line. It's not exact. It doesn't need to be. Okay, I'm going to put a little of it right in here. Okay, good. Now we're going to need something just a little bit bigger. I'm going to go back into that brown that I can't pronounce. Put it right here. And I want to make it different. I'm going to add some of this Mayan blue. It's kind of a slate blue. And I'm going to make, I wanted it to be kind of a gray. I'm going to make like as if there was some rocks here. A little more pigment. Some rock. And maybe another, let me get some more of that brown in there. A little bit more rock here. And a little bit more rock there. That one has that black look to it. I'm going to rinse my brush out, go back into that Mayan blue, put it in there, and just deepen this one up a little bit. Okay. We're doing good. We're doing great. I think I'm going to add a touch of red to this orange. Well, to this yellow color that also had some green in it. And we got kind of a dirt color, which I like. And I'm going right up under that rock, right under these rocks. Yep. I'm going to break it off over here a little bit. Nice. I like this light area here. It looks like it might be a place that the sun is hitting through the clouds. All right. I'm going into, I want a green. There's that Cascade green. I'm going to add this green to it. I'm going to add this yellow to it. Just keep using the colors I've already used. Here comes a bigger area. Because we're getting closer now. Much closer. Let's bring it right over here. I'm going to just, there, have it be kind of a vanish. And now while this is still wet, I'm going into this rhodonite. Rhodonite is a pink stone with black in it. And I'm going to just indicate maybe a few little flowers. Get some more rhodonite there. And bring them up. As I'm coming this way, I'm making them just a little bit bigger. Okay. Now, the rest of this, I'm going with green, and I want it to be a fun green. How about this one? I'm trying to read my own handwriting. What color is this? Let's see. I did it tanzanite. Let's look on this side. It's one of my, I think it's tanzanite. It's one of the colors that I added, so it's not on the original swatch that Daniel Smith put in there for me. Nice and dark. Good. Now, I'm going to take this brush that's like some kind of a boar hair, pushing my paper down. I'm going to add some grasses. It's just adding texture. There we go. Looking good. I'm going to rinse that brush. Dab it off. Okay. We've got some little lines here. That is from where I must have scratched it a little bit when I was picking up their stray hair from that one brush. And it's fine. We're going to turn that into trees. So when you get stuff like that, don't worry. Picking up my small brush. And this is my number 2 snap. Going back now into that pink rhodonite. And I'm just gonna add put the tip in the water, a little more detail to these flowers, especially the ones that are close up. I'm just kind of making a circle around each of these flowers. A little more paint. Good. Rinse that off. I'm going to go into the yellow, straight into the pigment. Cadmium yellow medium. And it's not wet enough. The paint is just sticking to my brush. There we go. A little more water, a little more paint. Okay, good. Now, the clouds. I am going to take a smaller brush. Maybe I'll keep going with that number 2. I want a darker blue. So I'm going to get this. This is pretty much that phthalo blue. I'm going to add some of the aquamarine blue. But I have a black shade, and it's called hematite. I'm going into that. It's a very highly granulating color, meaning it breaks apart, and bits of the hematite gem, which is what they've used as pigment here, is ground up hematite, which is a semi-precious stone. And they ground it up, and they put it in this paint. So it may want to float to the top. I'm going to find what looks to me, I'm getting rid of a bubble of water off of my brush, off of the ferrule. I'm going to just do tiny little touches where I'm thinking the bottoms of these clouds are. And now I want to kind of blur them. Maybe a little here. I'm going to wash in a little right there. Just to give the clouds some depth and some height. I'm just borrowing. Is it looking like clouds? All right, now, a little bit of water on my, too much water. A little bit of water on my brush. Good. Grab a piece of dry paper towel and blot it. There we go. This needs a little more. A little water. Good. Okay. Got a cloud up high there that I missed. So get it wet. Good, I like that, just like it is. Okay. All right. Remember I said we've got some trees in there? Well, let's put them in. I'm going right into that same black color that I used for the rocks. And I'm going to just put some little trees. I'm just putting in the, put this one bigger. Putting in the trunks. And we'll have a few little spots like this where I'm making just little V shapes. And that's going to indicate little branches. All right, let those dry. And we need a tree. Taking my big brush again, going into this color that I can't say the name of, putting it right into that rock color. That's a good start. I have to pick a side. I'm gonna go with this side. You ready? Here we go. Little irregular bottom. Right off the page. Little branches. I'm just kind of flicking my brush so that it narrows out. Little branch over here. Little sticking out branch over there. Little branch over here and here. What do you think? I'm going back into that brown color. I'm giving it a little more. Okay, let's let that dry. I'm going to add, though, some color to it. I'm going into my quinacridone gold. And I'm just going to lay some of that right here on the edge. Add it here and there. Again, we're just giving it some light and some definition. Okay. I've got some puddling and I'm just going to pick it up. There we go. Okay, I want this to dry more before I add more to it, but we can do a little something over here. And we've got these guys. Let's put them in. I'm going to go back to my smaller brush. And I'm going to pick some of these greens that are getting pretty watery and pretty faded because these trees are far away. And I'm just dotting all the way across all these little trunks. Good. Towards the top, not even cleaning my brush. I'm just rubbing it a little bit into that yellow. And that can be maybe where more light is hitting. This tree's bigger over here and over here. I'm going to go back into the darker green. And this one's a little bit shorter. Maybe it's been having some troubles. You never know. We're doing this real simple, right? We haven't done anything complicated. It's just layer on top of layer on top of layer. Okay. I still want something over here. Where's my bigger brush? Which one was I using? Where did I put it? Oh, for heaven's sakes. This one. Okay, yeah, number 10, Simply Simmons. Simply Simmons is a good watercolor brush. I like it. I like my Princeton Snaps a little bit better, but I like them both. Okay, something over here. I'm going into that brown. And this tree's not quite as close. I'm holding the way back of my brush. Yep, love it. I really do. Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to give this a quick dry. Okay, we are dry. I'm not going to go with the biggest brush. I'm going to go with this number 6 snap. And let's get some foliage in here. I want to start light because we can always darken it up. So I'm putting a good amount of yellow in here. Little water. Probably got some effect of that heat gun. I've got a stray. That was left over from that other brush. Okay. I'm going to work on this tree first because this one's going to be in front. So I'm just going to make dot, dot, dot clusters of leaves on these. That branch belongs to him, but this one, right off the page. Okay. I want it a little lower. Okay. Rinsing, dab, dab. And I'm going to grab some of this serpentine green. Everything got dry from the heat gun. There we go. A little more. Okay. Color number 2. And if they bleed and blend, good. Dot, 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 dot. A million dots. Call me Monet. Now, I'm not going to rinse my brush. Well, I got to get some water because everything's so dry. I'm going into the Cascade Green, which is a dark green, almost like a phthalo green. Mixing it here on my palette. And here we go. I especially want it around branches so that it helps make the branches look like they belong. Come on, Cascade Green. Okay, looking good. Now, it's this tree's turn, and I am going to go back to my larger brush. I'm going to start out, remember, yellow. So I'm going to load up this yellow. I'm going to go right into that Cascade Green. A little more. And let's start out with that. Dot, 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 dot. Okay, rinse. And I'm going to get that serpentine green, load it up, add it to this. And here we go again. Okay, good. Rinsing my brush, going into the Cascade Green, which is my darkest green. Like I said, kind of a phthalo green. And one more time. More phthalo green or cascade green at the bottom. Shadier, right? There's our trees. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to take that smaller Princeton, the kind of a medium one. This one's the number 6. I'm going into this cad red. I'm going to make my brush fairly dry. And I'm going to put a little bird right here. And another one right there. And just maybe a little one that we can't see very good. Now, you can stay with me long enough just to dry those little red birds a little bit. They're still kind of far away. I'm going to go straight into, with just the tip of my brush wet, into that hematite, which is that black color. And I'm just putting it, little shading on their heads there. Little birds, 2 little birds. Will my white pen work? Kinda. And just put a tiny little dot. Okay. I think our little landscape is gorgeous. I want to add some more detail. Are you up for a little more detail? Okay. I'm going into that cad red, and I'm just going to add some little cad red dots around these closer up flowers. Because when you consider these birds, these are big flowers. And maybe a few flowery shapes like that. Yep. And I'm going into the rhodonite, which is the color I originally used for these flowers. And I'm just making some dots in these far away ones that may just be a few more flowers that have kind of come into view there. And I'm going straight into the cad, and I may add a big one or 2 right in here. Yep, pretty dry. Good. Go into that yellow. Adding some flowers right there. Okay, grabbing my, we're not going to do much with it, but with my settler, I'm going to add way over here. I don't want to put my hand in something wet. A little bird. 3 little birds. And right here, 2024. Well, we're getting there. I'm going to add a little more. I'm going to go right into my whitewash. I'm going to mix it up with this green. I'm also going to mix it up with some yellow. So I made it less transparent. And nope, I want it lighter. Get more white. Okay, try again. There we go. Just a few light marks. Just for some light. There we go. Okay, well, you've hung in with me this long. Go ahead and hit the like. If you're not subscribed, today's the day to do it. Down here, there's going to be a video that's been picked out just for you. I hope you join me over there, because that's where I'm going to be.